Does your swamp cooler need a makeover? Today, I'm giving my swamp cooler new life. I'll be installing new pillow bearings, a new fill valve and cooling pads, and I'll show you how to fix a rusty swamp cooler water pan to make it look like new again. If you watch this video to the end, I'll fire this swamp cooler up and show you just how cold it can get. This bearing has seen better days. The one on the other side is a little bit better, but they're both shot. So let's get these off of there so we can put the new ones on. There are only 2 Phillips head bolts that hold this bearing on. My bolts were covered in calcium buildup, so I used some picks to dig out all the crud, and then my screwdriver fit right in. This Allen bolt seems to be stuck on there pretty good. I'm gonna spray some of this Thunderbolt penetrating oil on there. Wellworth is the name of this company. They sent me some samples, so we'll see how it works. Whoa. Nice. All right, that stuff worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. To remove this bearing, we got to get this retainer ring off of there, and then we got to try to pull off what's left of the bearing. And I'll show you a few tricks to make that happen. But let's see how stuck it is. To keep the shaft from moving, you can see I put a clamp over here on the pulley. So I've got it clamped on this side. Let's try to take it off with the vice grips. All right, that worked pretty good. Now I got to get that bearing off of there. I'm going to use this puller. These are jaw pullers. This is a kit I picked up at Harbor Freight several years ago. There's 3 different sizes. Let's pick one and try this. Here's where we're at. The bearing came apart and the bearing race is still stuck on the shaft. Let's get some heat on this situation. All right, I got this thing all cleaned up with the steel wool, and we're gonna put our new 3/4 inch pillow bearing on there. Get him started there. And I'm just going to use this 3/4 inch socket. That'll push it back. And then a 3/4 inch wrench. And that's about where it was before. Now there was also this washer spacer that was in there. And then we'll reattach the retainer ring. This has the alum set screw on it. Now before I tighten this down, I'm going to position the bearing with the mounting screws into the crossbar. Screws are tightened down. We're going to position the retainer ring, and then we're going to tighten down this set screw. And we're going to make sure that we lubricate this pillow bearing, and then we can do that again in the fall and again in the spring, so twice a year. All right, to change the bearing on this side, I've got to get this pulley off of here. This has a square set screw on there, and even though it's square, it'll take a deep well socket. This is a 3/8. And you can see how it fits right in there. Now this is where these pullers shine. They're actually designed to pull these. You can see that this pulley has 3 spots. That's where the 3 hooks are gonna go. With the pulley removed, now I can get to the bearing. Like the first bearing, there are only 2 bolts that hold it on. This bearing was a lot easier to remove. I just pretty much pulled it off. I forgot to mention, both bearings were 3/4 inch. A little oil for lubrication, slip it over the shaft, and tighten up the bolts. And with that tightened up, we're just going to put the pulley back, and I'm going to try to line it up with the hole in the same kind of spot. There's a flat key on the surface of that. To replace the drive belt, I loosened up these bolts on the side of the motor bracket. I used a ratcheting wrench to loosen them up. That made it really easy to put the new belt on. And now I'll tighten up the bracket and I'll lift the motor to put some tension on the new belt. This swamp cooler had a 48-inch belt. I could not find a 48-inch belt, so I used a 47. By adjusting the motor using that bolt, I was able to make this work. Next, I'm going to replace the fill valve. I'm going to use this brass fill valve. This one was a little more expensive than the others, but I think in the end, it's going to be worth it. I'll put an affiliate link for this and all the products in today's video in the description down below. Here, I'm using a mini tubing cutter to remove the old ferrule fitting from my water supply line. Steel wool works great for prepping old tubing for a new fitting. Installing the new fitting is pretty easy. First, I put on the nut, followed by the ferrule. I like to use the valve itself as a depth gauge for the ferrule. I just push the valve onto the tubing until it bottoms out. Now I'm mounting the valve into the swamp cooler and attaching the supply line. Let me show you what I've got going on with these cooling pads. I bought 2 of them, 24 by 36 for $5.87 a piece. I need 3 of them cut for my swamp cooler. 24 by 16, I need 2 of those, and 24 by 26. So one of these I'm going to cut 10 inches off of to get my 24 by 26. The other one I'm basically going to cut in half because I need 2 16-inch pieces and I'll have a little left over. The easiest way I've found to cut this Aspen cooling pad is with my shears. The reason why I don't use the synthetic is because it just doesn't work as well. And they only last one season anyhow, so $5.87, I'm sold. Here's what my water pan looked like before I restored it. You can see it was pretty rusty. Step 1 of my restoration was to use a stiff brush and water to clean up the pan. I scrubbed on it for a good 20 minutes or so, and most of the loose rust came right off. Step 2 was to use a grinder with a flapper disc and a wire wheel, and even a cutoff disc to remove as much rust as possible. All right, there's the fruits of my labor for, I don't know, the better part of an hour and a half. It's pretty shiny. There's still some pits. There's a little bit of scale in there. So the plan here is to prepare this surface and to use some spray coating made for these pans. So I've got some of this left over from the bathtub video that I did last year. So we're gonna brush this on and rinse it off and call it good. And then we're gonna head to Home Depot and get the spray. Jelly. Wow. Look at it go. Holy cow. All right, I had to stop for a second. You can see the reaction going on with this metal. I guess I should have used this stuff to begin with. The rust jelly's been sitting on there for about 35 minutes. Let's take it around the corner and hose it off. I've got a couple of holes in this pan that I need to weld. So I'm gonna take 22 gauge sheet metal and I'm just gonna cut some patches, nothing fancy, and weld them in. Before I give this a coat of primer, I'm gonna hit it with some acetone. After I sprayed on the primer, I let it dry for 2 weeks before I used the submarine cooler coating. I used almost 2 cans. I gave it 2 coats, 30 minutes apart. I am really pleased with how well this water pan turned out. I mean, just look at the before pictures. And the submarine cooler coating, it looks awesome. Honestly, this water pan was so rusty, I wasn't sure if it was gonna come back. It's about 80 degrees in my garage today. The front of the swamp cooler is 79.3 degrees. Let's turn this thing on and we'll check back in half an hour and let's see how cold this thing will get. Let's see how cold this thermometer gets. My water supply for this swamp cooler is a needle valve that I attach to the cold water line on top of my hot water tank. I forgot to tell you guys, for this experiment today, it is 90 degrees outside today in Las Vegas, and that's in the shade. I've got my garage door open only about 6 inches. That lets air coming in through the swamp cooler get replaced with air moving out. It has been 33 minutes. Let's check in on some temperatures. Temperatures over here, we've got this thermometer right around 70 degrees. Let's shoot the laser. 65. Let's see what it is deep inside of there. 65. 64 degrees. So that's pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think about this swamp cooler restoration. I'm glad you watched, and I hope you'll watch again.